Good evening, everyone. I'm Shippo. I'm going to go through and do a replay analysis for the group of people that I was doing, trying to help us find mistakes and things we can improve on. Hopefully, if you're watching this and you're not part of our group, this might be of benefit to you. I know in voice comms we were talking about stuff and were distracted, so we didn't know who was going to go soak top and who was going to join the team. Shame on us. Even before the game started, we kind of said Tails or Tassadar would be going top lane, and we were talking about stuff that didn't really matter. This was an unranked game, so he forgot about that, and we didn't have a nice, clear, definitive who's going where. Doesn't really matter, but has a little bit of an impact early game as Diablo's sitting here going up nowhere, and Tassadar's also going up nowhere. So the three of us, the two DPS and healer, are just sitting here. And if they had their Maverick in this bush, we would have been in trouble. Luckily, we knew because of Lunara that Genji was the only one in that bush, and I think they saw in this bush as well, which is why I went up there to get the stack. First thing I know that we didn't necessarily do, let's press E to see everyone, we didn't press tab and look at quests. Thrall wants to go through and kill things with Chain Lightning. It's very hard to stop that from happening, so it's going to happen. Gul'dan, we need to avoid Gul'dan's Echoed Corruption. We didn't look at this, we didn't think of it that much. I know I did say over voice chat that Gul'dan was going for this. Don't know if we mentally thought of dodging his skill shot or not. And we didn't look for Anubarak, any quests that he might have taken. I know that I'm focusing on my quest, because I'm playing Ana, of getting sleep darts, which is why I went up and slept Genji for no reason. And besides that, static quests, people know what they do themselves, and I'm sure you know what those skills do better than I do. Or talents, I should say. So as we're sitting here, we need to be cautious of Anubarak getting health globes, and Gul'dan hitting us with his, I don't even know the name of that, Echoed Corruption, I guess. We do a lot of fighting, and something I want to point out here, especially to Fubu as he's a new tank. Early game, you're not tanky at all. This Anubarak is getting destroyed. Well, sure, Genji was able to dive onto Lunara and Ming. It didn't put them into lethal range, and he took a little bit of damage himself. Whereas Anubarak went in trying to make it so he couldn't focus Genji. He's almost dead. He's asleep, so he gave me more of my quest. That's big thing you need to pay attention to. You don't want to give enemy team quest stacks, and you're not that tanky. So he might have twice the health pool of Genji, and apparently I can't... Oh, it's showing up there with at least Gul'dan, because I have it paused. What he did is bad, what you did is good. I know you're going to charge him soon. I can't see your skill cooldowns. There we go. You're going to charge him soon. You have Q and E up soon. As Diablo, you want to try and get into a position to stun him against the wall. So if you had started to walk up and around, then you might have been able to stun him into the wall, doing bonus damage. As it says right there, enemies will take an additional 125 damage and will get stunned for 1 second. You're new to Diablo, so I understand you not knowing that. Try to pay attention to when people are asleep, because I'm not sure if you attack them or not. He was already hit, so it really didn't matter. I know you're going to Q and try to flip somebody sometime. With Diablo, you can hit Q, hold Shift, and hit E. So if you were trying to get the Anubarak for a kill for your team, charge him, flip him over you, and body block him. You could press Q. Before you finish queuing, you can hold Shift, hit E, and you'll automatically flip him to the other side of you, so you can start body blocking and all of that. It's early game, it's a little bit risky, but you have your healer right next to you and you'd be securing a kill, so at worst you'd be trading 1-for-1. Typically you'll be going through and trading half of your health pool for a kill, which isn't that big early game, but it does help. Up here I know that Thrall is a little bit of a lane bully, and Tassadar will probably end up getting pushed out of lane a little bit. Just try and soak, and if he wants to push in so you can soak near our towers, that's fine to do, as you'll still get the experience, and we'll lose a couple of hundred of health on the towers, worst case scenario. It's not that big of a loss, especially since usually teams will come and take these all at once. Getting a little poke damage on the structures at the cost of getting a camp isn't really worthwhile, and that'll come up later in this replay as well. We didn't get a kill, we tried to poke, but we let Gul'dan get a few stacks. Not the best, but it happens. Don't be afraid to back off in between auto attacks, especially on somebody like Lunara. You can move auto and then move again while your auto attack is down. Scoot and shoot or blocking, whatever you want to call it. Just move away by right-clicking, then right-click on them, A left-click, or just A if you have it as a hot cast or quick cast. Just try and get some distance between you and the enemy team, especially when you're low health. Don't just stand there and waste all the wind up and wind down time of your auto attack. Sit there, auto, and run. It really ends up helping you do more damage, and I know you normally play a tank, Maverick, so that's even more important on melee. You can go through, cancel the second half of your auto attack animation, and stay on them even longer. Nothing much really happens. We give stacks back and forth. We zone him out of... we almost got a kill on a Nubarak, but we zone him out of his quest, which is the more important thing. And that's the charge that I was talking about. You missed him from getting hit into the wall, and you didn't flip him. We might have been able to do more damage on Genji, but it really doesn't matter. And we almost killed the Nubarak, which it doesn't happen, but great on us. I missed hitting him with my reduce healing. My bad. We posture and dance a little bit, and now we're on a 4 versus 3, but that really doesn't matter as there's not much we can do. I don't know why Thrall backed. It's nice to get some chance to soak freely against your opponent, and this comes in more on League or other games. If your opponent backs and you know that, and you're not going to be able to shove the wave into the building so they can't hit last hit in other games or get the experience soak in this game, just sit there and don't do anything. Let the wave kill each other, get any quest stacks that you can. In other words, you shouldn't be pushing unless you need to get your quest stacks. That way more of our wave dies, he loses more experience from backing, and we get more of an advantage. Unless you can't do it on Tassadar, but say you're on somebody like Sonya, shove the wave, come take a camp, get back for the next wave. That would be worthwhile. Meanwhile, down here, we've shoved the creeps into the wall, and we can sit there and try to do a little bit of structural damage while possibly giving Gul'dan more quest and letting Genji jump into us. Or we can go through, and I believe I ping it and call it in voice comms to come and do this camp. All 4 of us should instantly rotate up and let them clear this wave. And if they want to try and fight over the camp, we've already shoved them in. I know Nubarak's just coming, but they've got 2 people half health. We're all fairly healthy. They don't want to come and fight us at this disadvantage. We should have all just come up here and cleared this vision camp as quickly as we could. And there's me pinging and saying to do stuff, but people, instead of clearing the camp, tried to scare Genji away. We saw that he was backing. Worst case scenario, we're wasting his time and our time, but we're letting the enemy team also come out and threaten us by wasting our time trying to hit the Genji. We should have cleared the camp and then instantly come back to the wave and fought in the wave like we had been doing, and weaken them that way. We still did fine, we still got the camp, and only took a little bit of extra damage from the enemy team, but we could have had a little bit more value by just focusing the camp, listening to the call. If Diablo needed to shove somebody out, he could have. He could have also flipped them off at the point, so we could have taken the point. Little things to think about. I'm sitting here trying to go through and heal as Anna if you're lower health and you're safely in the backline. You should go through and let your Anna have an easier time healing you. If you're going to move around, move back and forth in the same linear shot from Anna. If I'm going to try and hit Maverick and he needs to get away from Genji, he's probably going to keep going left, and if he keeps going left, that's great, I can line this skill shot up. But if he acts like he's going left and then dodges down, he's not really dodging Genji's skill shot, but he's dodging Anna's skill shot. More specific to Anna, but if you don't want to die, you need to dodge in a way that Anna can predict. And if you just kind of go in a straight line on her skill shot, that makes it even easier, because she won't need to lead you and possibly miss. Something I didn't mention is Tails had rotated down to the objective, and we did not rotate up as we were in the middle of a fight. So it's good that he was able to run away and not get collapsed on by the enemy team. I think had he have tried to pay attention, looked at the team, like, why is the team not here, looked at the minimap and saw, like, right now you can see that Genji is on top of our team. We're trying to either kill Genji or Genji's trying to get a kill secure. Either way, we're not paying attention to the minimap. So as you slowly going to the objective, once you're here, you're not focusing on creep wave. If you see an enemy on the minimap near you, then you see them. You gain no benefit from looking at the actual screen, so you can look at the minimap and say, oh, my team's distracted, they're fighting, I should take a quick glance and see, oh, they're not going to join me. Instead of getting upset that, why didn't you guys call, you're not here, you have the chance to go through and see, my team's fighting, I didn't even have to move the map, I can look on the minimap and see that red and blue are touching, so they're distracted. That was also bad on us for taking the fight while the objective is spawning, but at the same time it's not that bad because they have to push their objective through us, so unless we horribly lose a fight early game, they're going to have to push through the four of us even if we never leave lane. Let's slow this down because there's going to be a fight. Brightwing definitely got caught out, and great job on all of us for securing that kill. At this point, no matter what, Brightwing is out of the fight, and we see Thrall starting to collapse on us. The fact that he's coming down to try to dissuade us is a risk on him and a threat to us. If we go to our vision, we only see two people. We don't know if there's going to be people trying to collapse on us, so we either need to, as a group, fall back to the objective, or as a group, keep on Brightwing. I peeled off because I know poison damage is pretty high with us, and Brightwing's probably going to die. Seeing Thrall should have scared us off, but seeing the whole map, we know that it's a 3v5 worst case scenario, so we could have chased Brightwing down and then killed Thrall. That's probably a bad call on my part, and we didn't voice comm to say secure the kill or turn on thrall. So Maverick ends up kind of overextending and getting really low and almost dying. Good job on knocking him away, Fubu. If somebody's body blocking you, just flip him. That way you get to walk through. Maverick, you're very far forward, being very low health. If Genji wasn't alone, and if Thrall didn't have such low health, you're in a high risk, and Ana is not a guaranteed heal. So you were way too far forward. I know you normally play a tank, and that's where you should be, but you're on a squishy. It's a little bit riskier there. And at this point, I'm fine with us chasing. We've gotten the heals off, and Genji almost died due to that. At this point, instead of trying to chase a kill that may or may not happen, we've scared them away from the objective. We could have taken this camp really quickly as 5 and kept pushing the objective, so free experience, and had extra vision and Gul'dan came behind us. We'd see him and possibly be able to collapse on him or know where the threat is coming from. Instead, a little bit of siege damage. I'm not going to complain about that. But we don't do anything to take the camp, and we're just slowly pushing that in. I say I have low mana, Li Ming has low mana, and is just throwing skill shots just to try to find out if they're coming to stop it. But we could have easily backed off, let people tap, as I was out of mana, Li Ming's out of mana, or was out of mana, Li Ming tapped. It was a, we could have not had a risky situation. And at this point, we've shoved the wave in, and they're defending, and they have their camp that they just got with the Gul'dan and Anubarak. We could have just backed off from here, taken this camp or this camp, and then come back up to defend, with leaving Tassadar to soak. Or we could have had Tassadar come down here and soak while we take this camp and then defend. If they have people on defense, I thought they had more, but either way they're able to defend, and then they've got the camp coming. We should have seen that they took a camp and instantly broke off to take a camp of our own, instead of just sitting here and getting minimal siege damage done and having everyone do nothing while we could be soaking down here with Tassadar. As the tank Fubu, when you see somebody like Genji jump on your healer, you want to try and make sure that they don't get to stay on your healer, so you can either flip them away, push them away, stun them, anything to make it so the healer doesn't feel threatened and not be able to do their job of keeping you healthy. Granted, it wasn't that big of a threat, because Genji just jumped on me and I was able to sleep the other people. But it's still something to keep track of. And down here, we're losing a lot of soak. We've lost 1 or 2 waves of experience, and you can see up here in our level, it's starting to show. They got the experience from this camp, they got the experience from soaking bot, and we've fallen 66% of a level behind, and we're not getting anything with it. Sure, we defended a little bit of structure health, but with Tails going down to soak bot, we could have stayed even in experience. Or with us going to grab the camp earlier, we could have stayed more even in experience and been prepared for the next fight like they are. You can see that Anubarak's holding the turret. Going through to speed up because we don't really do much. We should have just had one person go bot. I was staying up here because they had a group up here. Anubarak, it's hard to collapse on him. We shouldn't have wasted our time. We should have just had one person come down here to soak or push the wave out and then grouped up to do a camp, it's easier to say stuff pausing and in hindsight. Now we're just trying to siege into them or clear the wave. We're not doing anything, especially right now. There's no waves, we're just posturing. We could be taking the camp. I'm not sure if it's the best or worst time to do that, as the objective isn't up, but we could have taken this camp to push out bot and give more threat, to rotate and take this camp, and then collapse on Thrall or get some structure damage up here. And then having Tassadar rotate back down. But we just posture and do nothing with it. We got a kill on Genji, good job on our team for that, and we're actually to the objective on time. Shame on me for being down here and putting myself at risk. This is bad on me for not being with the team and trying to soak. I need to get out of that habit. Let's slow it down as there's going to be a fight. At this point, we take our vision, we only see Genji up here, and we see two people down here, and we're pushing into them. I can understand trying to kill Genji as we think he's alone, but all of us should have collapsed on Brightwing and Nubarak, because at worst this is a 5 versus 4. At best it's a 5 versus 2, and then we can push the 3 off this way as the 2 have to retreat and then go the long way around. And we would have had the camp right here, and we would have been able to fight knowing where exactly everything is. Instead, we go through, we kind of split. I'm focused on the damage dealer is focused on Genji, and now we're in a risky situation. As Nubarak is on our backline, our tank has to choose between protecting the healer and damage dealer or protecting the support and damage dealer. And this really splits our focus. We should have called to attack Brightwing, or we should have called to attack Genji. At this point, we see them collapsing in, and it's a collapse from all sides. We're forcing Genji out, but we're about to be hit hard by Gul'dan. Our Li Ming is pushed out because he's playing smart, playing away from the tank and being aggressive towards the healer. But we need to call that. If we would have stopped and instantly turned the 4 of us to kill Brightwing, Brightwing couldn't do anything. Or Brightwing might be able to blink to one of them to safety, and then we can focus and blow up a Nubarak. What ends up happening is we take a little bit of damage, their tank jumps in, and luckily they have to back off because we threaten Genji out. But it could have easily turned the other way, especially with the enemy team collapsing on us. Something I want to point out is Cocoon typically only takes 1 damage from anyone attacking it, but if you have a poison or damage over time like Anna with Shrike, or Lunara with her passive, poison does a lot of damage to this because each tick is going to do 1 damage, but you have 3 or 4 ticks per auto attack. So your auto attacks are 4 to 5 times more effective than anyone else. Same with Tassadar's Storm as it lasts for a while. That's something that we could have gone through and taken this Cocoon out as fast as possible, while continuing to back up. Tails is in a little bit of a risky position, but luckily with Tassadar he can dimensional shift and stay alive just about whatever happens. Luckily we did poison that, so it went down really quick, and the 3 of them kind of focused on trying to kill Tassadar. Bad on them because Tassadar is not going to do anything, and we're able to sit here and focus down their tank now that we've got no threat. We only have 1 target to focus as Brightwing went to the team. And Genji is doing his Shadow Strike. I think that's what it's called. His X Strike. So we can't focus him. So we have a single target that we can blow up, which is great for us, and we end up doing that. And well done on Diablo trying to save Tassadar. And that wound up becoming a 2, which it'll be a 3-4-1 and Tassadar was a little bit overextended, but that wound up helping us because Gul'dan wasted his ultimate on Tassadar. Maverick, you way overextended there. If they decided to turn and blow you up, there's nothing we could have done, especially if I happened to miss my shot. At this point, we did something bad. We left this camp with 3 of them down. We should have taken this. It wouldn't have been contested, and it takes so long to get up here to soak this wave. We could have just sent Tassadar up here to do that, as that's his thing, but he's dead. Then we could have just sent Diablo or Lunara or Ming. It really doesn't matter, just one person. And we could have taken this camp really quickly, rotated out, taken our elite camp, or yeah, we wouldn't have been able to steal this, it wouldn't have been up. So we could have taken their camp and then rotated and taken our camp and then taken this camp. But since, for whatever reason, as a 4-man we decided to come up here and clear top and completely ignore bot, we lost the advantage of having 3 of them down, and we don't gain experience of it, so we lost a lot of value. As a healer, I shouldn't be on my own, so I'm trying to join the group, and I ask for help to take this camp, because we're not doing anything, just sitting there soaking. And it's a small thing that we can do. I believe Neko was saying we should take these, so we went through and took that. Well, Neko took that, and we quickly came down here and took this. Thank you, Tassadar, for coming down and soaking this lane, which was good. But we also left nobody up here to soak this lane, so instead of gaining more experience and or protecting our vision camp, we just gave top lane up for free and lost a lot of soak. And at this point, they've bypassed us in experience, and now Tassadar is up there. Meanwhile, a fight happened while I had it on too fast of a speed, so I'm going to rewind a little bit. So at this point, they have nothing to do besides try and focus us. We're trying to get the vision camp instead of soaking, and that ends up getting Lunara caught out, Diablo caught out, and Anna caught out. There's nothing Anna can do here. You guys should try to trade 1 for 1, but once that ulti happened, you guys should just back out and reset the fight. Great job on seeing Brightwing was able to be killed because of the turret, and capitalizing on it, and then resetting. And this isn't that bad of a scenario, as Thrall's just sitting there wasting his time and staying visible. Now that he's missing, probably to do their camp. Oh, look, they're getting ready to do their camp. We don't know where they are, we don't have vision at this point, we're sitting here doing nothing. We should have come up here and instantly taken the camp instead of wasting a few seconds. And they get to take their camp for free. It's going to happen instead of us rotating a little bit quicker, and then as soon as we saw that, we could have rotated as a group. Lunara staying down here I don't agree or disagree with, but I think it would have been better for our team to swap Tails down there and have Lunara come back up. It sucks that they have their camp pushing when the objective is starting to spawn, because if we can rotate and have our 4-man down here, they have to go through our 4-man no matter what, even if we're late to the objective. With us being up here, we have to rotate to the objective, which we should be doing anyways, but it's just a little observation for this map, because we've already got it, so we don't have to come up into this lane. They have to come to the objective. If we were down here, they'd have to come to us, and we could set up shop and not let them pass. We're just sitting here trying to go through and kill the camp while they're doing whatever they can to blow people up. This fort is low health. We can't guarantee that we're going to be able to save it, especially with the camp right on top of it. We should be willing to retreat a little bit more. Luckily, Maverick's coming up. But at this point, we need to not just look at the camp, which is our personal objective, but we need to look at what we're defending. this is not worth defending. We're going to lose that, and somebody's probably going to die because of that, especially since the fortress, keep, whatever this is focusing the camp and not the enemy heroes. They can dive us all day, and we're going to be focused on something that's not enemy heroes. We should have just conceded and tried to kill Genji, or somebody else who dove too hard. As I said, we lost this. I get cocooned, and while Li Ming is sitting here trying to get me out, she is not the person who should be getting me out. Lunara, because of the poison, should be getting me out, and if Tassadar can cast spells while in Archon, he should have stormed that. Because neither of them attack the cocoon, Diablo almost dies, Ana almost dies, and we lose a lot of map presence because everyone's so low health. So Diablo almost dies, Genji dives on me, I almost die, luckily a Nubarak doesn't kill me, and luckily they don't turn and collapse on Maverick. This was a series of very fortunate events, and it's only because they have one person sitting down here instead of 5-man pushing us in like they should have. At this point, while we're all running down, I'm sitting here trying to do heal taps. I agree with Lunara stopping Thrall and getting some free damage, but at this point, we need to either all collapse on this and concede the objective, trading a kill for the objective, or Lunara and Ana need to get out of here and join the team as soon as possible. And because we don't shot call at all, we've got 2 people focusing a tank who's kind of out of position, but another way to think of that is he's zoning us. There's not a big threat of anything happening to him. We have a tank who's going to end up focusing their tank, and then we have a support and a DPS. Both squishy, both don't want to run into Gul'dan or Thrall, running into them because they want to stop the objective. And because of the split focus, we almost get the Bright Wing, or we do get the Bright Wing, which is nice, but in retaliation, we lose Li Ming. Healer for a DPS, most people will take that any day, but the support ran too far forward, we couldn't do anything, and then he decides to cocoon. We have 2 people who have poison, we need to immediately get the tank out, while Tassadar is just trying to buy time and stop the objective from getting pushed in. It went from a possible free kill on a Nubarak for being out of position, which he probably could have escaped from, into being a Bright Wing for Li Ming, and then a very unorganized fight here after where we lose Tassadar and lose the objective. So we trade negatively and get nothing from a lost objective. You trying to focus him and missing a few auto attacks sucks, and you almost die multiple times. This was a very chaotic fight. We just needed to back up and defend the fort from the creep wave instead of fighting while tanking the creeps. And luckily they back off again, but they back off to take their camps. Well, we just sit here, push out a wave, and then come up here and soak top, which I agree with, but we didn't instantly come and get our camp. We could have quickly pushed this and then instantly run over. We don't need to sit here, we're just doing nothing. We're wasting time. Well, these 2 aren't able to start the camp because there's not enough damage, and you're just sitting there doing nothing. You're moving your vision and not getting anything out of it. Even though we already knew they were up here taking their camp, we're sitting there doing nothing, losing value, losing time. I agree with Tassadar coming up here and saving the structures and starting to do that, but because we took so long getting this, the enemy team were able to start threatening our camp, and we are super late on a rotation here, and they get a free fort, and they get to stop our camp for free. enough harping on that. We quickly come up here, do what we can to trade that. I think we could have gotten a little bit more value having Tassadar split as soon as the team grouped up to kill that camp, and got a few waves of soak, as long as he could do it safely. And then now we're fighting into them over nothing. We're not fighting over the camp. There's no objectives going on. There's soak top that we should be getting. And we're pushed up really far away from Tassadar, who's doing what he should be doing. And we're about to either get caught out or fight over nothing for nothing. And luckily we're same level, but we've been making a lot of mistakes that could easily have cost us more and more experience. And we're down structures, so they're getting free global experience faster than we are. So we're really pushed up. The enemy team knows where we are. We don't know where they are. So they're able to jump on Diablo, cocoon him. I believe Tassadar's storm is down. No, it's not. The storm should immediately be on Diablo. Instead of me trying to focus hitting Diablo out of that, I should have thrown my sleep dart probably on their tank or on their healer and just tried to run. But because I don't, Genji jumps on me, we don't get Diablo out, so at least they've got a guaranteed kill. And we did nothing out of that. Diablo's stuck in that, I'm getting collapsed on, and there's nothing I can do, there's nothing anyone can do, and then the fear comes out. We need to trade the two for nothing and retreat. We've lost this fight. We can speed this up a little bit. Luckily, Diablo gets out a little bit, but he stops to try and turn the fight. We're already down our healer. This is a 4v5. We should not be taking this. The only reason he should stop is to sacrifice himself for the group. And because he turned his ulti on, Lunara turned to fight and got blown up. Not specifically due to that, because Genji's jumping on our backline and blowing everyone up, and might have been able to just get them anyways, but we turned to try to save Diablo, and in turn, we lost Diablo, we lost Lunara, and we lost Ming, on top of losing Nyanyakoneko initially. So it's a fight over nothing that we lost 4 people for. And we also lost Diablo's tankiness. He had full souls, so he instantly respawns. A waste of that respawn, as there's nothing for them to do. One person could have been down here trying to soak and poke the creep wave down, and then the other one could have come up here, but both of them coming up here to clear the wave is safer, and we're not going to lose another person. Though we do completely concede this because we can't do anything about that. At this point, the enemy team should be taking our camp. There's nothing we can do to contest it, and we should just be wave clearing. If we try to contest this, granted we have ultis, I don't have my ulti target, and we're down all of our damage dealers, so we shouldn't try to contest them taking our camp. Which, lucky for us, they didn't. They could have just had Thrall push that while they took the camp and made this another lose-lose situation where the camp goes through and pushes into our core, or we concede this objective. Right here, Ana, Lunara, Tails, so Tassadar are way too far forward. We should have been back here a little bit more, not moving forward, especially with our tank behind all of us. Because of the cocoon, we should be fighting a little bit further back and ready to instantly de-cocoon whoever he cocoons, because we have poison, storm, and more poison. If Diablo gets cocooned, we clear that, start to back out, and as soon as he starts to come out of the cocoon, we re-engage. But instead, we've got everyone in the front line were all clumped up, and a Nubarak can instantly jump on any of us now. Granted, we did need to try to contest the objective. We could have backed up a little bit and contested the objective there. And now we're in a good situation. Diablo's in the front line. We're able to have a back line supporting the front line, and we're in a decent situation now, but it could have turned out a lot worse. With him in the center, we all turn and blow up and get ready to de-cocoon whoever he cocoons. He jumped in, he's out of position, his team can't really do much, and Diablo's the one in front, who we want in front to take the damage. He cocoons Diablo. Instantly, I'm trying to hit that. Tails should be trying to storm the cocoon, and Maverick should be trying to hit that, and we should ignore their tank until we have some damage on this, and we can continue to back up. We put the poison on that, and you can see 1 or 2 hits of poison makes it so it's going to melt. And unfortunately, how we were caught out, he gets the free knockup, Genji gets the free jump into, and we don't have a shield on the squishy DPS because the shield went out on Diablo. As Tassadar, we should save the shield for whoever's going to need it more. Lunara with a health pool of 2,500, or Diablo with a health pool of like 4,000. Granted, he died, so it's probably closer to 3,000. As Ana, I'm not able to go through and actually hit skill shots all the time, so he dies for free. It's not much we can do. It was a hectic team fight. And at this point, Diablo is able to stop the objective, but he's going to die because we're all pushed out. We've lost our damage dealer. He should just ulti and try to turn this fight into the best that it can be, while protecting the two of us up here, the damage dealer and the healer, and giving Tails a chance to turn into an Archon, but that's down. So giving him a chance to try to do whatever he can. Actives are hard to go through and utilize, but as soon as Tails saw Genji jump in, he should have tried to nullify Genji. At this point, you got rooted, you should have instantly ultied. You don't have it, so I understand not ulting. Tails should have dimensional shift and run the safe way away. We get split up a little bit. They put healer into their damage dealer, and our tank got blown up because he got shoved into them. And instead of running the safe way around, you got blown up as well. And everything just went wrong there. And then they just quickly pushed to end. A little bit of our positioning, a little bit of our cooldown usage, and a little bit of not knowing how to play around their Nubarak is what cost us this game. We got blown up, we didn't have skills to protect that, and then skill shots were missed, which that happens.